Hello everyone. In our previous session, we successfully created a login page with Uidaddy. Now, in today's video, we'll see how to make API calls in Uidaddy. Additionally, we'll create a user interface that displays a user profile after a successful login, complete with username in the header. Let's dive in. We updated the Uidaddy interface. Now, if both the ID and name are present, we can see the name in the elements instead of the ID. Additionally, we added background color for hover and click events on elements. Now, let's link the login button to trigger the API call we set up earlier. On the on-click event of the button, add configuration to make the API call with the user-provided credentials. Handle the response to determine if the login was successful. To make our UI more interactive, let's set up a click event for the login button. Click on the button element and on the right side toolbar, find the Events section. Click the Add button to add a new event. Select the event type as Click. Now, to define the action that occurs when the button is clicked, click the plus sign to add an action. Uidaddy will create Action 1. Expand Action 1 to reveal the available options. We want to call the API on button click. For that, we will choose the action type as Invoke API in Action 1. Now, let's configure the API call. Provide the necessary details such as the API endpoint, request method, etc. This ensures that our application communicates with the server when the login button is clicked. Now, let's proceed with this. Expand the API name and provide the name of the API. For this video, we will use the name Login. In the API URL field, provide the mocked API link for this tutorial. Select the method as post since we are submitting data to the server. Scroll down to the Payload Parameters section and click plus button to add payload parameter. Here, we'll map the element names with the variables expected by the API. Fill in the parameter name with the name of the variable expected by the API, and in the mapped field, use the given name of the element on our UI. This ensures that data entered by the user is sent to the server correctly. Let's see how to do that. Type email in both the parameter name field and mapped field, since we have email in both the element name and in the mocked API. Now click the plus button below to add another payload. Here we will set password for both the parameter name field and mapped field. Scroll down to the success configuration and provide /profile in the navigate to page URL field to redirect the page to the profile once login is successful. Now scroll down to add shared data and click the plus button to store shared data. In the variable name field, provide the variable name to store the response, and in the response accessor field, enter the response value name from the mocked API. We will add the following fields: first name, last name. Now, switch off the With Credentials toggle and save draft. Click on Page, then New Page, and name the page as Profile and save. In the header, add a content section. Inside that, insert static text widgets and name it Greeting. Now, let's create a dynamic template to greet our user along with his name. In the Special Attributes, within the Value field, type Welcome curly bracket open 0 and curly bracket closed for the first name and 1 for the last name to populate the variables 0 and 1 with the first name and last name of the user. In the Dynamic Value accessor, pass an array of variables stored in shared data, specifically first name and last name, which is exactly the same as passed from the login page in shared data. Now, click on Save and Build and proceed to the dashboard page. Please wait until the build status is complete. Once the build is completed, click on the deployment link and add /login in the end. Now, you can enter your email and password to log in. Since we are using a mocked API and have not enabled an auth guard, we can use testamail.com as the email and a random password for the login. After clicking the login button, you will be redirected to the profile page with a welcome message preceding your name in the header. Now, we will make an API call on the profile page to display favorite food and favorite color. To do this, navigate to the page body, click on Page Setting, select Advanced, and add an API configuration. Expand the API name and set it as Profile. Paste the mock API URL into the API URL field. Choose the method as Get, scroll down, and click Save. Select a container from the layout. Next, choose a text box widget and name it Fav Food, with the label Favorite Food. In the Special Attributes, set the accessor in the accessor field. Provide the name of the API, then dot and key of the response from the API. In our case, it would be profile.fav_food. In the same way, set up favorite color. Now save and build. Once the build is completed, go to the login page and log in with your credentials. After logging in, you can see your favorite food and favorite color on the profile page. Hope you had a fantastic time creating your UI with Uidaddy. Feel free to drop any questions or thoughts in the comments.